pleasure to have here today at HSM Specials on Management TV, Neil Rackham. Thank you very much for being here today.
Thank you.
What's the new reality of purchasing? How customers are changing the way they buy today?
I think there's been perhaps a bigger shift in purchasing than in any other area of business. And the reason for it has been that if you make a saving in purchasing, 100% of that saving goes into your profit. To make a saving in manufacturing, you have to invest in new machinery. To make a saving in marketing, well, you have to make an investment to make the saving. But purchasing leads directly to absolute profit. And because of that, the kind of person in purchasing has changed. 10 years ago, the people in purchasing were not very high level. Mostly they were loyal people who were honest, who worked well for the company, and they were put in purchasing because they didn't do any harm, and they worked with salespeople and with vendors. But now, in the United States, there are many purchasing jobs where the base salary is in excess of $1 million. And it was almost unknown to have a $100,000 purchasing position 10 years ago. So what's happened is purchasing has become more strategic, has become more sophisticated, and the kind of person in purchasing has become very smart and very capable.
What's some of the best ways to sell in a multi-channel world? I mean, we're now, in the old days, we could just had one channel, one way to sell, and now we have so many ways, and that's driving people very confused. So which is your opinion on that?
Well, I think the key rule here is the customer decides. A few years ago, it was very fashionable in channel management to say, let's do what's called channel pruning or channel rationalization. If we have 9 channels, that's too many. Let's cut it down to 3 or 4. But the fact is that the number of channels you have has to be determined by the ways in which customers want to do business with you. So you have to engineer your channels from the customer demand. And very often, customers want to know that a channel is available even if they don't use it. I once worked with a New York bank where they didn't have a good internet channel, and they were losing about 5,000 accounts every month. So they introduced an internet channel and cut that loss right down. But only 100 people every month joined the internet channel. Now, the others wanted to know it was there just in case they wanted to bank at 3 a.m. in the morning. But the demand for the channel was greater than the usage of the channel. But the general rule, I think, is pretty simple, and that is always let the customer determine the channel that they want to use to do business with you. And that's why studies by McKinsey, for example, on the profitability of multi-channel systems show that the more channels, the more profitable. Even though the more channels means more confusion, more messiness, as long as they're clear that there are available ways for the customer to come to you. And the more ways, the greater your versatility.
Neil, what are the characteristics of a winning sales force?
Again, the sales force that wins has to do 2 things. It has to focus on the customer. Too many sales forces, even today, focused on the product or the service and not on the customer. All that products are tools to enable the salesperson to do something valuable or useful for a customer. And I think the second thing is this. It used to be, the business model was, you make a great product, and the product has tremendous value to the customer. All the value is in the product. So the job of the salesperson was to show the customer what a good product it was, because the value was inside the product. Well, now there are so many products and so much competition that your product isn't very different from a competitor's product. And so what has to happen now is the salesperson has to create as much value as the product. And that's been a major shift in selling.
And what are the characteristics of a successful salesperson?
They've changed. In the old days, selling was about persuasion. Very good at talking. Selling was about energy. Very enthusiastic, very high energy people. And they succeeded in selling. Today, selling is much more about strategy, about planning, about understanding customers, and about being creative. The good salesperson today is a problem solver, a creative problem solver. If I'm recruiting salespeople, I don't look for people who I think are good at persuasion.